Let's talk about something more and more families are discovering nowadays. This is a big hot topic, lip and tongue tie. We call them tethered oral ties, or TOTs for short, and they're far more common than people realize. There's a lot of environmental factors that are contributing to this. We have a ton more toxins in our environment, really bad nutrition, and there's just a lot of deficiencies and genetic mutations now that are happening that contribute more and more and more to this, because this used to be not even an issue in most of our population. So why are we seeing this more than ever before? A major contributing form is the synthetic form of folate, also known as folic acid, which was added to many prenatal vitamins and fortified foods starting in the late 1990s due to spina bifida being a thing. So while this move was originally made to prevent these neural tube defects and midline unfusion or lack of fusion in the spinal cord, which was spina bifida at the time, research has shown that excessive use of folic acid, that synthetic form of folate, especially in those who can't properly methylate, may interfere with midline development and actually create overfusion. This includes the structure affected by TOTs, so the tongue, the lip, and the cheeks. So it connects all the way through the midline, and there's excessive fusion happening in the mouth. So this is a perfect example of how something intended to help can actually have unintended consequences. So a lot of the times, as a society, we have overcompensated for issues or problems arising. So if your baby struggles with latch, has reflux or gas, or seems chronically tense, arching their back, or even holding their head up right away after they're born, this can be a sign of an oral tie or excess tension, especially in the mouth. But here's what most providers miss. A tie is not just about the tissue, it's actually about the tension. So it's not just excessive tissue happening in the mouth, there's excessive tension happening in the mouth. So if the nervous system is stuck in this fight or flight or stress mode, a release alone will not fix this issue. All the time I see my friends, my mom friends, just going straight to the tie release. And it's helping, but not really solving the root issue. Their symptoms kind of get better, but not fully go away. And so that's why that approach is not working, because the tension is not being released. They're only just the superficial tissue. So at Pinnacle here, we actually follow a whole protocol with our babies because we are seeing it all the time now, especially after birth trauma and a lot of excess stress during birth. We have to start with the nervous system post-birth. It's a super highway for everything. Through insight scanning, where we're detecting that tension in their bodies and we're able to release that gently with them, we actually reduce that fascial restriction and that neurological tension that's stuck there from the birth or from being in the utero experience. And then when we release that tension, this then affects the function, and some super tense ties might not seem as tense anymore, and they might be a lot lower of a grade or potentially even go away. But once we get that release happening within the fascia and the nervous system, we need that first before we even go to releasing a tie surgically. If we need to, we will then refer for that tongue tie release. And we talk about that being a release because we will only refer to pediatric dentists that are airway specialists that use the CO2 laser, which is the gentlest form of approaching this, especially with young babies who are breastfeeding and latching. The mouth has a ton of nerve innervation and a lot of sensation. So if we're affecting the mouth, we want to do it as gently as possible. And we don't want to use scissors or clip the tissue. That's just going to grow back stronger because the body is super smart and it will protect it. So it'll develop scar tissue in that area. So we'll refer only to pediatric dentists that will do a gentle release, and then they will prescribe exercises to help it stay loose, along with body work with our care to help it release even more and integrate well in the nervous system instead of being stuck in that fight or flight mode continuously for that baby. So that is really important. Getting care in before, during, and after the release, because that is what's going to create that long-term change for your baby instead of just doing the superficial band-aid effect, which does help in some cases, but it's not the whole picture for these babies. We see this approach helping with latching, feeding, fussiness, weight gain, sleep, arching, gas, and all the general things of discomfort that these babies are experiencing that are symptoms of that tie. We also focus on tummy time, and we can help guide you through developmental milestones and exercises that create those long-term sustained results for your baby. Several of our doctors have completed cranial work certification to support the structural balance of your baby's head, face, and neck. We will even go into the mouth with a glove and gently release some structures and work on the palate to help create balance for your baby. And when needed, we can also offer guidance on functional nutrition to support your healing from the inside out, especially when there's food sensitivities, inflammation in the gut, or if there's methylation issues suspected. But all in all, we need to focus on that nervous system, getting that stress released from the system so then that body can adapt to whatever's happening in its environment. Above all else, we are here to support you. It is so challenging being a new mom, struggling with latching issues. Breastfeeding is a very humbling experience, especially if it's not going perfectly well. So make sure you reach out to us if you need support in this journey, and we'd be happy to help you with this.